Welcome, friends. What happens when a kind-hearted nanny replaces her best friend on a blind date, only to find herself falling for the man she was never meant to meet? The rain fell softly over the city, tracing silvery lines down the cafe window. Inside, golden light warmed the air, mingling with the scent of roasted coffee and chocolate cake. The soft hum of jazz played in the background. Mira sat nervously at a corner table, her hands clutching her purse. She'd been to fancy places before, but only to pick up her employer's children after music lessons, never to dine in one. Her floral dress was simple, her shoes slightly worn, her curls damp from the mist outside. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her friend Leah was. The evening had begun with a panicked phone call. "Mira, I can't go." Leah had cried. "Please, please go for me. The client who arranged it will be furious if I cancel. Just pretend to be me. One dinner, that's it." Mira had protested, but Leah had been desperate. So, here she was, pretending to be Leah. On a blind date with a stranger she'd never met. The cafe door opened. A tall man stepped in, shaking the rain from his coat. His movements were steady, confident. His dark hair glistened under the lights, and his deep gray eyes scanned the room until they found her. Mira froze as he walked toward her table. "Mira," he said, his voice calm but powerful. Her breath caught. For a second, she almost confessed everything, but Leah's words echoed in her mind. "Just one dinner." She smiled nervously. "Yes, you must be Mr. Blackwell." "Ethan," he corrected with a faint smile. "Just Ethan." Mira's heart nearly stopped. Ethan Blackwell, CEO of Blackwell Industries, one of the city's most powerful companies. She'd seen his face in magazines while putting little Daisy, the toddler she cared for, to sleep. The man in front of her was every bit as handsome as those pictures. But there was something quieter in his eyes. Something lonely. "You look different from your photos," he said, studying her face. "Different," she stammered. "Maybe it's the lighting." A soft chuckle escaped him. "Maybe, but I like it." The waiter appeared, and Ethan ordered for both of them. Steak for him, risotto for her. His confidence was effortless, but his gaze was kind. "So Leah," he began, once the waiter left. "Why agree to a blind date?" Mira hesitated. She could lie. But something in his tone made her want to be honest. "Maybe I just wanted something different," she said softly. "Sometimes life feels like the same routine. I thought maybe one night could change that." Ethan leaned back, his expression thoughtful. "I understand that. People think success means happiness, but sometimes it's just repetition. Meetings, deadlines, pressure. It becomes a cage made of gold." "That sounds lonely," she murmured. His gaze met hers. "It is." The word surprised her, the vulnerability in them. He didn't seem like the cold businessman from the magazines. He seemed human. Their food arrived, but neither of them paid much attention. They talked instead about music, books, and the strange comfort of rainy nights. Mira told him about the children she looked after without saying she was their nanny, and he listened with quiet fascination. He laughed when she admitted she was afraid of elevators. "How do you survive in this city of skyscrapers?" he teased. "I take the stairs," she replied, and he laughed again. Hours passed unnoticed. When the waiter mentioned closing time, Ethan blinked at his watch in surprise. "I can't believe it's this late," he said, standing up. "I don't usually lose track of time." "Me neither," she said, smiling shyly. He helped her with her coat, his fingers brushing her arm. "Allow me," he said softly. The simple gesture made her heart flutter. Outside, the rain had stopped. The city glowed beneath the street lights, puddles reflecting the world like tiny mirrors. "Would you like me to call you a car?" he asked. "No, I'll take the bus," she said quickly. "The bus?" His brows lifted slightly. "It's part of my charm," he chuckled. "You're full of surprises, Leah." Her chest tightened at the name Leah, not her. But tonight, she didn't have the courage to correct him. "I had a good time," she said. "So did I," he replied. "More than I expected." For a long moment, they stood there, neither wanting to move. "I'd like to see you again," he said. "Tomorrow." Mara's heart thudded. "Tomorrow," she whispered. On the bus ride home, she stared at her reflection in the window, rain-slick streets blurring behind her. She knew she was living a lie. But for the first time in years, she felt alive. The next evening, she promised herself she'd tell him the truth. But when she saw him waiting by the fountain, holding 2 cups of coffee, her resolve faded. "You came," he said. "Of course," she replied. They walked through the park beneath glowing lamps. He spoke about his childhood, about losing his parents, about the loneliness of being surrounded by people who only cared about his name. She listened, her heart softening. When he asked about her, she told him she worked with children, that they made her laugh, even on hard days. She didn't say she was a nanny, but she didn't lie either. They ended up sitting on a bench, the stars peeking through clouds above them. "I wasn't planning to enjoy tonight as much as yesterday," Ethan said quietly. "But I don't want it to end," Mira smiled sadly. "Maybe some nights aren't meant to end." He turned toward her, his expression softening. "You're not like anyone I've met." His hand brushed hers and she didn't pull away. Her pulse quickened. Every irrational thought screamed that this was wrong, but her heart wouldn't listen. When he offered her a ride home, she accepted. The car was silent except for the sound of rain against the windows. At her stop, she turned to him. "Ethan, there's something you don't have to tell me tonight." He interrupted gently. "Whatever it is, I'll wait." She stared at him breathless. "You'll wait? I feel like I've been waiting for you for a long time," he said. Her chest ached. "You don't even know me," she whispered. "Maybe I don't need to," he said softly. And before she could respond, he leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead. It was warm, tender, and real. "Good night, Leah." She stepped out of the car, heart trembling. As the car drove away, she stood under the street light, raindrops glistening in her hair. Her heart was full of something she couldn't name, guilt, wonder, and longing all tangled together. She knew she couldn't keep pretending. But she also knew she didn't want this feeling to end. For one night, she wasn't just the poor nanny who patched her shoes and counted coins. She was a woman who'd been seen, really seen. And now there was no going back. She looked up at the cloudy sky and whispered, "What have I done?" The wind didn't answer. Only the echo of his voice lingered in her mind. "I don't want the night to end." Neither did she. And thank you so much for reading this heart-touching story. If you love emotional, romantic, and soulful tales like this, don't forget to follow Kindness Love Stories, where every story begins with kindness and ends with love.